If you've been at your brokerage for a while and something feels off, but you can't quite put your finger on it, this video is going to help you figure out whether that feeling is just a bad week or a real sign that it's time to move on. I'm not here to recruit you anywhere. I just want to give you the framework I wish someone had given me before I wasted years at brokerages that were taking more than they were giving. And if you want more straight talk about the business side of real estate every week, subscribe. This channel is built for agents who make decisions with math, not emotion. Let's get into it. Sign one. You're capping every year, but your take home isn't growing. This is one that sneaks up on you. You're selling more, your GCI is going up, you're working harder than ever. But when you look at your bank account at the end of the year, it doesn't feel like it's growing the way it should. That's because your brokerage is growing with you. If your split is percentage based with no cap, or your cap is high, are there royalty fees and desk fees layered on top? Every dollar you earn above last year is being split with people who didn't help you earn it. Here's a simple test. Pull up your last 2 years of production and your last 2 years of brokerage costs. Did your costs go up at the same rate as your production? If yes, your brokerage is taxing your success. You're running faster on a treadmill. The fix isn't always switching. Sometimes it's renegotiating. But you need to know the number first. Sign two. You're paying for things you don't use. Office space you haven't sat in for 6 months, a desk fee for a desk you don't need, technology fees for CRM you replaced with your own system, training programs you stopped attending 2 years ago. A lot of agents pay these fees on autopilot because they've always paid them. They don't stop to ask whether the value is still there. Here's what I'd encourage you to do. Make a list of every single fee you pay your brokerage. Monthly fees, transaction fees, desk fees, technology fees, royalty fees, all of it. Now, put a check mark next to the ones where you're actively getting value. Not nice to have value, actual measurable value that impacts your business. If more than half your fees don't have a check mark, that's a sign. Sign number three. The top agent in your office is your competitor, not your collaborator. This one is about culture. It's harder to measure than fees, but it matters just as much. In some brokerages, there's an unspoken competition between agents. The top producer doesn't share their playbook because you might take their listings. The office meeting feels more like a turf war than a team meeting. You ask a question and get a vague answer because nobody wants to give you an edge. If you feel like you're on your own, even though you're surrounded by other agents, that's not a brokerage. That's a building you're paying rent to sit in. The best brokerage environments are ones where people genuinely want each other to succeed, not because they're nice people, although that helps, but because the business model rewards collaboration. When someone else is winning means you also benefit, the culture shifts completely. If your current environment doesn't feel like that, it's worth asking whether it ever will. Sign number four. You have no equity and no retirement plan beyond your next check. This is the one most agents don't think about until it's too late. If you stop selling houses tomorrow, what do you have? If the answer is nothing except whatever's in my savings account, your brokerage isn't building wealth for you. It's extracting wealth from you. Most traditional brokerages operate on a simple model. You sell, you get paid. You spend, you sell again. There's no compounding. There's no equity. There's no asset that grows while you sleep. If you've ever thought about what your business is actually worth beyond your next closing, and the answer makes you uncomfortable, that's a sign that you might be in a model that was designed for the brokerage's long-term wealth, not yours. Sign five, you've been thinking about leaving your brokerage for more than 6 months. This is the biggest sign of all, and it's the one nobody talks about. If you've been quietly researching other brokerages, if you've been doing the mental math on what you'd save, if you've had the should I switch conversation with your spouse or your business partner more than once, you already know. The reason you haven't moved is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of losing your clients, fear of the transition being complicated, fear you'll regret it. Those fears are normal. Every agent who has ever switched brokerages has felt them. But staying somewhere out of fear is not the same as staying because it's the right place for you. Here's what I've learned from my own experience. I stayed at brokerages longer than I should have twice. Both times, the thing I was most afraid of, the transition, turned out to be the easiest part. And the thing I didn't expect, how much money I'd be leaving on the table, turned out to be the part that actually kept me up at night. If you've been thinking about it for 6 months, stop thinking and start running your numbers. The math will tell you what to do. The recap. You're capping but not growing. You're paying for things you don't use. Your office culture is competitive instead of collaborative. You have no equity beyond your next check, and you've been quietly thinking about leaving for months. If you checked 3 or more of those boxes, it's probably time to at least explore your options. Not to jump, just to look. And if you want help understanding what's out there, how different brokerage models actually work, and how to compare them using real math, that's what this channel is for. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.